Hey!
Hey.
Hello, what's up, mixed Oreo?
What's up, home sauce?
How is everybody doing tonight? This is so cool. We've got four screens now. It feels like I feel like a Friday night. I feel like we're doing
After
after
dark?
dark.
Except there's no swearing.
Oh, yeah, no swearing. I will do my best. Thank you for the reminder.
No. Well, I mean, not like this show gets monetized or anything. So,
Right,
but
right,
still,
right, right. That's true. That's true. I
whenever
guess.
you're having smart discussions, it's not. Oh, look at that, John! That's awesome.
I love my
Oh.
shirts. Are you kidding? I wear both of them all the freaking time. I love
Nice
these
shirt.
shirts. They are so comfortable. Really, if it
And
says
hi,
something.
Robin. How are you doing?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was like, they're awesome, and I was like, hi, Robin. I was just
Oh,
saying, like, they're so cool.
yep.
Sorry, my brain.
It's
So we
uh,
have for all of our people in the audience tonight, we have something a little bit fun and special tonight. Of course, if you've been hanging out with us for the last 3, 4 weeks or so, you've been hanging out with the captain, Lady Moon, and myself, and the boy Wonder. But our regular host is also now back, and it is so good to see him. What is going on, Mr. John?
oh, not much. I'm still trying to get that wheelchair. But the good news is, I will be getting Medicare to help me this time. And I am working with somebody. So the money that you guys raised, by the way, I hear it was over $3,000.
About
Um,
3,500.
Holy
That is
crap!
amazing.
That is amazing. Um, while it was not the grand total of what we were hoping for, that will actually still help out with either the 20% that I will still have to pay,
Oh,
spare parts that I want to get along with the wheelchair, so that way if
right.
things go wrong down the road, I don't have to
You
end up
can
in
just
this
fix it.
situation
Hmm.
again. I'm
And I
planning
know there
ahead
was a
this time.
couple of things that you wanted to customize on it to make it more fitting for you.
Yes, and also if they don't cover the levers, which I did figure out how Medicare could cover those levers by including them in my doctor's face to face and calling them the proper thing. So
Right.
we'll see if those are covered, and if not, that 3,500 can go towards the levers. I found them as little as $1,000, by the way, for the same set.
That's
Yeah,
Ooh.
amazing.
I'm always looking for deals, man.
As you
Well, I
should.
was bummed out that we, obviously could not raise that full amount. I knew that was going to be a little bit of a challenge
What you
with
did
with our
is
tiny little company,
amazing.
but we did what we could.
And
Yes,
here's the thing
exactly.
is that as we get bigger, we can always do more fundraising in the future for other things, not just, I mean, for your, if you have another project that needs to happen, but also for other things. And as we get
Of course.
bigger, that's the thing is that, we can do more things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I was blown away when Ark here and everybody said, "Hey, we're going to help John out and do this." I'm like, "Wait a minute, seriously?"
You're part of our team.
And when he said, "Yeah, you're part of the team, you're part of the family," I'm like,
You're part of our family.
"This is the first time in the 15 years that I've been broadcasting that I've actually met people who keep their word." I don't know if you guys have gone through life where people meet you, "Oh, yeah, I'm all excited about this and I want to help you with that. I'm going to do this," and then they just flake out. Yeah,
Right.
Hmm.
either you are or you're not going to help, and if you can't help, just don't say anything. Don't offer.
Right.
I'm not going to be hurt
Don't
by that.
offer if you can't. Yeah.
And
And
it's
if you,
annoying as heck if you say you're going to do something, then fail
right,
and don't do it. But
right.
so thank you. I mean, I'm so humbled and so just wow. It just made me want to fight that much harder to try to get this done. I think the correct way that it should happen. And
Right.
finally, and I want to just do a plug to National Seating and Mobility. They are 5 stars in my book because from the moment that I met Jonathan Mize in person and even before in the where we were just conversing, boom, response this, boom, back and forth. And he came out to the house, did a full, what he could do is evaluate for his own fact finding how I use my wheelchair. See me actually what he calls furniture walk. When I stand up and I'm holding on to anything and everything that's stable near me to make a move, and I only go about 4 to 6 feet. then I have to
Right.
then I have to return to the wheelchair or sit down somewhere. And he's like, okay, I call that furniture walking. That's not ambulating. I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
and he's like, so when you do this, you're experiencing pain. I'm like, I'm experiencing pain 24/7.
Right.
So,
So it's
John,
awesome service.
it's really good to see though that your mood is better
Yes, it was
because
down there really low, and oh, I gotta say, I was very that close, but I've made a really deep connection with my current doctor, and
good.
I told him on my face to face, I told him I apologized about when I vented and dumped on him my raw thoughts. I said I wasn't trying to tell you. I wanted to just get that out so I can reread it and go, I don't want to do that. Actually, I don't want to hurt myself. I want to keep
Hmm.
fighting. And he's like,
Right.
so what you did was you're trying to use me as a soundboard. And I'm like, precisely. I said, I feel like we're more than doctor patient. I feel like you're more my friend. And as he's sitting here looking in my studio, because I did the face to face in my studio, he's like, do I see lightsabers? A dark saber? He's like, are you a Star Wars fan? I said, nah. Okay, I am. In the community I hang out with, oh yeah, we nerd out over all kinds of stuff like this. He's like, that's you got to see Andor. He's like, and the way he said it, the look in his eye, he's like, you've got to see Andor. So I watched it, really good, really good. I was impressed. Started out slow, then it started to pick up its pace there, but really good. I'm like, damn, they really know how to put on a production.
Yeah,
So
and I was, to be honest, I was very, very worried about you. For those that have been following this show for a long time, this was a concept that John and I kind of came up with together.
Hmm.
And one of the things when I first met John that I had always admired was even though he's dealing with a lot of different issues, a lot of pain, and even some mental challenges,
oh yeah,
you've always had an incredible attitude. You've been able to, keep a bright and sunny attitude, even though you were dealing with physical pain. So when I saw what had happened to you with this last experiment with the control box or whatever, and
yeah.
it seemed like you were in so much pain that it was starting to turn to anger and rage.
Oh,
And
it was. It was beyond that.
I could see what you were doing, so I tried to give you as much space as possible. But I could see that it felt like you were trying to push people away
I
so
was,
that you didn't, you know,
and then I stopped
basically
myself.
get angry at them and push them away for things that are not, our
Yeah.
faults or what
What I
have
like to call is building walls. And here's what walls do to you. When you build those walls, what happens? You start getting your voice back at yourself. And all of those negative feelings get reinforced. I hate myself. I'm not worthy. I'm all alone. No one can hear how that's reverberating back those walls. So what I did, I got rid of them. And I decided I'm going to vent to my doctor, get it out, boom. And as soon as I did that, that was the walls being ripped down. And then that was the starting of my recovery coming out of that. And it was a deep depression. I mean, it
you.
took over me. Like my only thought was, I just want this over with. I don't care. I just want it over with. I want the pain done. I want this new back spinal nerve damage. I can't even freaking lay down anymore comfortably without it doing something strange and weird to my body now. So I'm getting used to that. And any doctor I go to now that sees me, oh, you just recently had a back surgery. This is to be expected for at least the next 2 years. Uh
Right,
huh. In the meantime, you don't have to experience this problem.
right,
Well, I have
right.
to live through it. And there's nothing. And they're like, well, we could put you on medicine. I'm like, I'm not taking any medicine. That crap will mess with my bipolar. No, thank you. And I
Right.
love when they tell you, well, we can assure you it won't do anything to your bipolar. I've had doctors tell me that in the past. I ended up in the hospital because of it, 90
Yikes.
miles
Right,
away from home.
Yikes.
right. Well, I am happy to see you back here. It is
I'm
exciting to
happy to
hear.
be back here.
And I'm hoping you are back now. We
I
had
believe I am. I believe that
some
I'm
people may
back.
notice that I'm feeling a bit naked. I don't have my headphones on right now. I'm
Yeah,
not
you
plugged
know.
in. I feel like I should look like Princess Leia right now.
Mhm. Well, John, it's really good to see you back, and it's really good to see you in a much better place. I was worried about you too. I think I even reached out and said, hey, if you need to talk or anything,
Yes,
I'm
you did.
here.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, because you're
Everything
not alone here. So, and
everything
we
that you
all have
guys
problems.
did and everything helped me
Mhm.
realize I need to not do what I used to do in the past, which was build those walls up and then build myself a cocoon and disappear in it.
Well, that's the
Um,
thing about cocoons. They can feel safe at first, but then they get
yeah,
really
those
isolating.
darn safe zones, those safe places you think you're safe in. They're not safe at all. When you get out of them and you look back about a year later, you're like, wait, where'd all those landmines come from and bear traps? And well, that wasn't so
Well,
safe after all.
isolation. Yeah, it's isolation.
Exactly.
That's what you do. And
Isolation
most
is
people when
dangerous.
they yeah, when people like when they are hurting or something, they're like, I don't want to hurt anyone, so they just push everyone away because they think, oh, I'll be safe have to
And
interact, and then,
anybody.
like you were saying, the echo, it becomes an echo chamber, and all it does is create more negativity. After a while, some people do need to separate so they can regroup.
You
But
do
once
need
you're
a
done
bit of timeout
regrouping,
for certain things, yes.
yeah. But once you're done regrouping, if you keep that wall up and you keep pushing people out, it will get worse. Anyways, I bet we have a topic tonight to talk
We
about,
do.
though, don't
We
we?
do, and we have a guest. Actually, she is waiting backstage. So
Awesome.
let's go ahead and get into this, if you guys don't mind.
No,
Right, I'm going to
I'm
throw up
not ready.
our
I'm not prepared.
definition, and Captain, you want to
None.
read our definition for us? Well, first off, why don't you tell people what you want to? Well, okay, there we go. What are we talking about tonight, everybody?
EDS, also known as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. John, do you want to read the definition?
I sure can.
Okay.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is a group of hereditary connective tissue disorders that manifest clinically with skin hyperelasticity, makes it very stretchy, hypermobility of joints, meaning they can dislocate real easily, atrophic scarring, and fragility of blood vessels, meaning that they can tear and basically burst.
Ooh,
Wow. Very, very easily.
I had I was wondering about that because I had pulled up a list of like facts about this, and one of the things that they had mentioned was tearing of the skin, but they called it cigarette paper scars, and I didn't know what cigarette paper scars meant, but it was something that effectively I guess happens to the skin.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever rolled your own cigarettes, that type of paper is what you're talking about, that really thin tissue paper.
Right.
And it can get tears or scarring in it if it gets a little moist as it's being wrapped or rolled. I used to know somebody that wrapped their own cigarettes with their own fresh tobacco.
So I'm guessing
Yeah, so it just means like even the littlest scrape, the littlest, it can cause the skin to break and it's very, very delicate skin. I think my housemate has a version of this. She didn't have it normally. She's much older, but it's something as the skin. It's it's similar. I don't think she's got EDS, but she's got that paper skin, the cigarette tearing of the skin, and I think it's very similar because just even the littlest bumps cause bruising or it causes the skin to tear, and she will get like, her on her arms and hands, she will get tearing in them really easily.
Wow.
Like it'll look like a cut on her arm or something when you say tearing.
No, like it'll look like actual scrapes, like part of the skin has been scraped off.
Oy.
And it's just it's horrible. Like she gets covered in bandages, and it's like sometimes even just the bandage can, when she's taking it off, the bandage can cause some of the skin to come off. It's really hard. And I don't think she's got EDS. I think that's just what happens when you have really thin skin as an older person too.
Right.
But this is not normal. EDS is not a normal aging thing. Most people are born with it because it's hereditary, correct?
Right.
I believe so, yes.
That I did read that it was hereditary. I'm trying to find 10 things you need to know. Okay, here we go. Well, let's pull up a little video first so we can get everybody on the same page, and they can see what this is about. This first clip I'm going to pull up, I thought was very interesting. A lot of times we try to pull up movies from popular culture or things that you may have recognized. This one was a little bit difficult to find any popular culture things. However, I did find an actress who deals with this. If you, of course, we are all fans of the Marvel series here. So if you guys watch She-Hulk, she was the villain in She-Hulk, Jamila Jamal.
Oh yeah, Jamila Jamal. Okay.
She was in the TV show A Good Place.
Yes, I love her.
I absolutely love her too. She deals with this. So so we're gonna show that clip, and then I'm gonna show one more clip that's more like clinical definitions right behind it. All right. So we're gonna have 2 clips here, guys.
Okay.
Hi, look at this. Jesus Christ. That is not an app. That's not a filter. That's just my face. Look at how elastic that is. The reason it is so elastic is because I have something called EDS. That's Ehlers Danlos syndrome. I have EDS3, HEDS3, and it's the H is because I'm so hypermobile. It pertains to my joints. As you can see, nothing bends the right way. Everything bends the right and wrong way. And yes, that is very sexy. Thanks for asking. I want to talk about it in spite of the fact that people like to make fun of me over my health, because it's a really serious condition and it impacts every single part of your body, and it even affects your mind, and it's very dangerous to not know you have if you have it, because of the way that it impacts bruising, bleeding, healing. If you want to have a baby, it's so important that your doctor knows if you have EDS, because it makes pregnancy so much more complicated. Childbirth, C-sections, having an injection in your spine, which some people need during childbirth. These are all vital things to make sure that you are super informed about. If you're a kid with it, you shouldn't be doing contact sports. I'm lucky that I was diagnosed when I was 9 years old, so I was able to avoid a lot of the things that would have made me much sicker when I got older. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, because I'm worried about the fact that I'm already at a huge disadvantage with my health. It makes you clumsier sometimes. It makes your joints swell sometimes. It means that you...
Wow.
Man,
Had no idea it really went that far as affecting everything like that. But it makes sense. It makes sense that it would.
right?
Wow, she's
There
amazing.
are, I want to say I saw, I can't remember. Let me see if I can see it on this list. I want to say I saw that there was like 16 different subsects of this particular disease. And at first, it was called the mystery disease because it encompassed so many things and they couldn't quite nail it down. And like I said, it's got so many different subsects to it. So let me go ahead and show this second clip, and this will tell us a little bit more. There we go.
Okay. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Art.
Oh, I thought the clip. Okay, there you go. Is there no audio?
Testing.
I think I think it's because you didn't turn off our audio.
Wait, I don't have to turn off our audio. Okay, let me try this again.
Okay, try it again.
Okay. I guess we're just reading this one, guys.
Okay, maybe it's supposed to come. Maybe it's supposed to come after this. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I was only off by 10. There's 6 main types, not 16.
You were that close.
Just 10. It's fine.
If it was a grenade, it would have hit nothing.
Are you trying to say that you're like a stormtrooper there?
Yeah.
I guess he is.
Yes, so. A little short for a stormtrooper.
Yeah, I apologize.
No, it's okay. This is very interesting, though. I mean, it's really cool actually watching it without the sound, because you're more paying attention to the to what's being drawn and what's being written, I think.
And I guess this will help us not get our community strike for the night.
Where do we get community strike?
Easily bruising and skin hyperelasticity.
Mm-hmm. Heart problems. I've heard of that.
Wow. I wonder what the heart problem is related to.
Probably has to do with the fact that your blood vessels are hypersensitive or hyper elastic as well, that they probably burst a lot. They probably burst easily.
That looks like gut issues.
Mm-hmm. Like IBS, or I'm guessing. Oof.
and many more. Jeez.
And many more.
And many more. Sorry.
All good. What happens when you get two bards in a room? They never shut up.
Exactly.
There's no cure. Only palliative measures can be applied to ease the symptoms.
Oof.
Man, I wish my handwriting was that neat.
No
To
cure
lead
for
a
that.
more functional life. Yeah, I mean, and as you can see, like with the
What up,
accident we
fellow
had, Jamila,
wheelchair user?
she said that she was 9 when she got diagnosed. So she was able to learn early what she could do to avoid having any long-term damage to her.
Mm.
And I think that's going to be about it. Well, at least it
Awesome.
stopped us from getting a strike. What's up, Forrest?
The
Thank you for
Force is
tuning in, my
here.
friend.
What force? What?
The force is strong with this one.
I'm using the Force.
So yeah, so I don't know. I'm hoping that helped a little bit. I'm not sure what happened to the audio on that one, but we will get that obviously corrected for next show or what have you.
Or we could just mute ourselves.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, what did you guys pull from that? What did you guys think?
That was actually very informative in the fact that, like you said, yeah, as you're watching it being drawn out, you're paying much more attention to it.
Right.
And
Mhm.
wow,
It really does seem to be something that affects your entire body and your whole life. I'm very interested, and in fact, in just a minute here, I'm going to bring up a special guest that we had.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, this guest has actually been on before as a dear friend of mine, but she was able to come on and talk to us when we were talking about fibromyalgia.
oh yes,
Yeah,
Mm.
Jen. So she also deals with EDS with her and her children and her family. And in
Really?
fact, right now, her daughter is pregnant, and they're waiting to see the test results to see if the grandchild will also be affected with EDS. I guess there's testing that they can do prenatally to help them, figure out if this is something that they're going to have to deal with for the grandchild as well. So, with no further ado, I would like to bring on my dear friend, Miss Jen Carpentier. Oh, do you have the little clap track thing, John? The clap track machine? Where's your
yes.
clap track machine? Yay!
Hello.
Well, you got to make her bigger.
Hello. How you doing tonight, Jen?
We're doing well. How are you?
We are beautiful. I totally appreciate you being here with us tonight.
Yes, thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Definitely.
You're like the extra host on this show. You're going to be a regular on here. Hopefully not, because if you're a regular on that show, that means you got a lot of complications going on in your life.
I do.
Right.
I really do, yeah.
Well, we better
During the
make
times that,
then.
sorry, go ahead.
Tell us what you can do. Did you see the video clip with Jamal, the actress there, where she was stretching her skin and talking about how it affects her life?
I didn't hear the video, but I did see it.
Mhm.
And so, but yeah, the hypermobility, and then like the cigarette ones, like I don't know if you guys can see, but there's
What
like,
is that? What is a cigarette? Because I read about that, but I didn't understand what it meant.
I can't show you. Okay, wait, there you go.
Oh,
That's from a
Oh.
scar, and so that's what it looks like.
oh, wow. So that's a scar from what, like a cut you got or something, or?
No, I went through a windshield in a car accident when I was younger, and
Well,
so
that'll
they
do
had
it.
to-
Geez.
They did plastic. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to. All right. So they did plastic surgery on it, and that's what it looks like after the plastic surgery.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So what can you tell us about this? How is this? Well, first off, when did you find out that this was something you deal with?
You know, my daughter just kept getting hurt in like the most simple ways. Like she ended up fracturing her knee,
Oh,
her
geez.
tibia on a toddler's trampoline. And so she just kept getting hurt, and they were like over exaggerated injuries. And so we
Right.
ended up getting referred to a genetics doctor. And then the genetics doctor, after going through testing and questionnaires, were able to say that she had Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility disorder.
Wow.
Wow. And so was it through her that you found out that you had it?
Yeah, so we just went all at the same time.
Mhm.
And then the occupational therapist had thought that Logan and Madeline had it because they were super hypermobile and didn't have as much control over their
Right.
movements. And so
Right.
when we all went, it ends up that I have it and I passed it on to all 4 of my children.
Oh, wow. And so now you're waiting to find out if your grandchild is going to have it, correct?
Yeah, so she'll go to the genetics doctor and they'll talk about risk and stuff like that associated with being pregnant with Ehlers-Danlos. And then they'll be able to go ahead and test the baby afterwards too to see if they have the same markers or not.
Wow. That's
Okay. Wow.
Crazy.
So it's multi-generational then that this can be passed along to them. It sounds like.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
Did you guys have any questions that you guys wanted to ask, or I can keep going?
So, Jen, how has this disability or this syndrome affected you?
Oh man.
I'm sure
Well,
there's a
it's
lot
more.
of different ways. I know that's an overbroad question, but kind of.
It makes sense on some of the things. Like I understand, like I can't stretch as far as maybe I can stretch because it's not necessarily good for me. As I'm getting older, I ended up dislocating my knee and then tore a bucket horn tear in my lateral meniscus, and so I had to have
Ouch.
knee surgery to repair that, like early last year. And so when I was just sitting down and I twisted my knee the wrong way, so as it popped, it tore. So
Mm.
definitely just being more aware of your body movement.
Right. That was one thing that struck me when I was watching that the Jamila video was she was talking about how she was clumsy. And no disrespect, it's all love, but I had noticed that about some of your children as well. It just seemed that like they were a little more clumsy or getting hurt a little more than the average child might. So it completely makes sense now in relationship to this.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Right.
Or why it takes some people a lot longer to heal than others. So I don't have the slow healing of it, but a
Mhm.
lot of others do.
Now, I'm very interested in what it's like dealing with this in relationship, because obviously, like I said, you've been on this show before, which means that we have talked to you about a different symptom that you have, which is fibromyalgia. And it seems like a lot of these pains and conditions kind of line up together, right? Fibromyalgia had to do a lot with joint pains and almost being like arthritis, kind of like. So I can imagine that if you had bones that dislocated easily, um, that they kind of, I don't know, work against each other.
They do, but with proper care, like this, like I was saying with the fibromyalgia as well, with like chiropractic care, learning how to control and manage the pain, chirotherapy, hot therapy, massage therapy, that you can really help to lessen some of these symptoms and also help break down like the acids that build up in your body that cause those pains. And then by taking like supplements, like supplementing collagen that's partially digested already, you can put back into your skin what you're losing. And so you get the plumpness back, you get all the stuff back, even though that you have the stretchiness there, you don't have like the goo to make it plump out.
So you're saying you're actually losing collagen, or your body is not producing enough collagen? Is that why it's more stretchy?
I don't know if that's
I don't know if that's
why.
what it is.
I know that you can, like, as you age in general, like over 20 years old, right? You start losing a percentage of your natural collagen every year. And so you have
Right.
to supplement that in order to get it back. And there's many different ways that you can supplement it through powders,
Yes.
pills, partially digested collagens, but those get
Partially
back
hydrogenized. Yeah.
stuff.
Hydrolyzed. Yeah. What you
So
were
a
saying,
lot of
Jen.
it just awareness, like the fibromyalgia, right? And learning what you can and can't do. The fibromyalgia is different as far as where the pain is located. So the pain's located in pinpoints all over my body.
Yes.
Right.
So And the hypermobility is probably more likely at the joint site or wherever
Yes.
you're having difficulties with.
Right, right. So when you're having a pain, you can pretty much determine what it is that's causing that, right? It's not like you would have
Yeah.
a pain and go, "Oh my God, is that my fibromyalgia or is that my EDS?" You can designate, you can figure it out.
Yeah, you can figure it out, especially with your normal, because you have so many options. You have CBD rubs, Tylenol, ibuprofen. You have the choice. If you choose to go medical wise, you can get medication from the doctor for muscle relaxers or to help you sleep. And then if you choose to go natural, then you have the cannabis side, and then you have the three different routes with that: the CBD, the sativa, or the indica. But there's ways that you can control and help your body to figure it out.
I recently had a back surgery that damaged a lot of my nerves in the spinal cord, and it's given me the same symptoms as fibromyalgia. And a friend of mine gave me a bottle of magnesium pills to take. And the
Yeah.
magnesium seems to calm the nerve pain. It's still there, but it really reduces it by quite a lot. Is that the same for you? If
Yes, I
you
do
take
take
magnesium?
magnesium supplement every
Yeah,
day.
that
That
stuff
is
is
part of the
amazing.
supplements. And so tilted magnesium is really well as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a type that she gets. I don't know. It works.
Yes.
And CBD oil that she gave me really helps knock my butt out so I get a nice sleep. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
that's lovely, isn't it? The CBDs
Yeah,
help a lot.
a nice quality CBD oil. I tried one once before and it did nothing. And so when she gave me this one, I just take a little bit. I'm like, whoa, that stuff. Okay, good night.
Yeah, and this it's kind of going to be like medication, right? So some CBDs are going to work for some people that aren't going to work for others. It depends on your
Exactly.
chemical makeup.
Exactly. Huh.
Wow.
But
What
don't do
else?
both. Don't use modern medicine and natural
Oh,
medicine.
no, no.
You're
I don't
really
take any
going
pain
into
meds or anything
uncharted
for my
territory.
pain issues. Nope. Because it messes with my bipolar. So I don't play with that.
Okay, good.
What else can you tell us about EDS that people might not be aware of or might be shocked to hear about?
That EDS can affect things as simple as like handwriting. It can affect your ability to read. It can affect your fatigue level. That like hand-eye coordination may be affected as well. The ability to jump rope, and then the things like getting hurt to an extreme level doing simple sports like ice skating or basketball or baseball can be a very it can
Traumatic?
cause accidents, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. It just means you're aware of what's going on and you try to take some more precautions. Maybe you use, like for basketball with my little girl, we use high top shoes. And so that gives her extra ankle support. But I don't not let her participate.
Oh,
Like
good.
ice
Good.
skating, like is hard, but we use two pairs of socks and we use two of the little guard things to help you stand up. So she can
Okay.
still do all things.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Wow.
you're bringing them up to be normal. I mean, typical, I should say, not normal. Normal's boring.
Yeah, yeah, but no, I mean, I just don't want it to be a limitation on them. I want them to
Exactly.
still be able to be inclusive and included
That's
Mhm.
and not
awesome.
be have to sit out because of fear of being hurt. You need to
Yeah,
be aware of maybe I can't jump 4 feet on the trampoline, but two's okay.
definitely.
Right, right.
Good.
I agree. Aubrey, you got anything?
Don, I'm just listening.
How does this has this affected, I mean, I know we've talked a little bit about how it's affected you, and then obviously with Aurora being pregnant right now, she's having to think about this with getting ready to have a baby. Have you seen it? Does it affect the boys any differently than the girls?
I think boys naturally are a little bit more rough and tough as far as like playing and like being more active, so they can get hurt more. But I don't know if there's like an actual biological difference.
Mm.
Okay.
Have you had to take the boys in just as much because you've got an even amount of boys and girls? Have you
Yeah,
had to take the boys in as much as the girls, or um,
Aurora has been Aurora's been to the hospital more times than I probably can count, and
Oh,
so
okay.
um, it actually helped because it was starting to look like there was like something else going on. Like, how do you get hurt that much? Like, this is the
right?
eighth time you've been into the emergency room this time. you've
Mm.
broken X amount of bones, and we're like, hold on, nothing's happening. Like,
Right.
let's
Yeah.
get to the bottom of this. So I think in that sense, it helped a lot to explain like the big bruising or the brokenness or whatever was happening.
Right.
Hmm. I do actually have a question. How does it affect pregnancy?
I I don't know for sure. All 4 of my pregnancies went really well. So I'm
Oh,
not
that's awesome.
sure, like, from a genetic standpoint, like, what they're concerned about.
Yeah.
Like, Aurora, I wouldn't know. We'd probably be able to look it up on, like, the government site, like, the
Hmm.
healthcare site, or they have, like, the Ehlers Danlos Society. They have, like, the Zebra Society on Facebook, which is an Ehlers Danlos support group. But maybe that would be more information as far as like the actualities of what happens. I know I have big stretch marks, so maybe that's one of the things that happen. That have
Hmm.
that cigarette-like paper marking on
Okay.
there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh-oh, where'd she go?
well,
Oh,
well,
Oh no.
that was rude.
that was very rude.
She's like, and I'm out.
Last time we let her on.
Well,
She's
see,
already come right back in. It probably
Yeah,
just
probably just
turned in
dropped the
probably
signal there
chat.
for a moment.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she pulled over to like a coffee shop or something like that. So hopefully we'll get to have her back on and close that out. What are you guys' thoughts?
Um,
Hot.
it is so much more complex than I thought it was. I only knew a kid that had this, and I only knew that he could bend his arms back and he can take his finger and go like this and touch his hand with his finger. And I'm like, oh, that just looks painful. He's like, oh, it doesn't hurt at all. I'm like, ooh, and he could do that with all of his fingers. I'm like, oh, that's just wrong.
Right,
Rubber. And
right,
yes, he got hurt a lot doing basic things, and everyone
Mhm.
always made fun of him. And he didn't know he had this, of course, for a while. And then once he finally got diagnosed with it, he was in his senior year, and we were
right.
sitting there talking about it. And he's like, "So that's the first time I ever heard of this thing." And I'm like, "Whoa!" So I only knew that a person that has it has very bendable joints. I mean, and and gets injuries pretty easily. So that's about all I
Right.
knew about it. So I didn't realize it affected everything else. It's like,
I
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
wow.
know
just
about the
learning
skin
about it. So.
elasticity, and that actually makes me wonder. I wonder if maybe that's where Plastic Man comes from,
Oh,
Richard
Fantastic
Reed?
Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four.
Yeah, what is
I
his name?
wonder. That's something.
Reed Richards.
Richard Reed.
Richard Reed. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the basis of where they get their powers from or whatever, or if the writer knew somebody that had EDS and then he kind of turned that into a superpower.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
there
mean that is
also
possible.
Mr. Glass? He has something similar to it as well.
We had talked
From
about this.
Collateral.
Yeah, it's not quite the same because his
Not
had
the
to
quite
do with
the same.
fragile bones.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was. I think it's similar but not the same. Um,
Right.
and in fact, that's one that we could talk about at a different time
Same
as
same
well.
with Williams syndrome because it's actually the opposite,
Oh,
which is really interesting.
Uh,
It's
yeah,
calcification of bones.
yes, yes.
the human body is an absolutely amazing thing. The fact
Isn't
Mhm.
that
it? It
there's
is
so
truly
many
incredible.
uses for the same parts of the body.
What's interesting is the fibromyalgia. It's really interesting when you get people of certain syndromes, and there's like this thing that actually goes through everyone with that that has the syndrome or
Right,
has the disease, and they have other factors, and it's like you see them. There's like all these correlations, like fibromyalgia often being a comorbidity with EDS. It's really interesting.
right, right. It just seems like oh shit. Okay, good. It seems like when you have a list of different medical conditions like that. I mean, you just
Hmm.
really have to be cautious throughout your entire life because you can't do this because of my fibromyalgia, and I can't do this because of my EDS. It seems like you're
And
you're,
you have
you're
to be
walking
very
a
aware
tightrope
on
at all
what you tell
times.
when you're talking to doctors. You have to make sure that the doctors are hearing what you're saying, because they
Yeah.
oftentimes will just hear one thing and assume other things and write down something wrong. That's what happened to me, and that's what I've been fighting for,
Mm.
trying to get this stupid wheelchair. So with somebody with this and they don't know about it, oh man, that's got to be super, super just frustrating because um,
I mean, it's scary too. Just like
It
even
is.
you could do the smallest thing and you could cause your bone to go out of its socket or dislocate something or break a bone.
Yeah.
Is I mean, as someone who is clumsy and tends to run into a lot of things like myself, that would be extremely scary.
Right.
Like
And I
inner ear
can't
disorder,
imagine.
so it makes it harder for
Oh,
me to.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Inner ear would definitely throw off your balance.
Hmm.
I can't imagine having a kid and putting him in sports and not knowing that he had this.
Oh
Unfortunately,
yeah. And
I
how
mean, it would be.
devastating
I
would
mean,
that be?
if I had a kid and I was seeing him go through all this, I'd be like, I'd be so sad and disheartened. I'd be like, oh my god, we got to figure out what's going on here. Then where do we start? You know?
right?
Or if you yourself had it, but you never got diagnosed with it, and then you find out that your kid has it, and then you find out that you had it, and especially since it's hereditary, I'm sure the
Yeah.
parents are like, well, is it my fault? I mean, that's
Right.
just horrible.
Right.
Is
Now,
Jen getting back in touch with you?
I haven't seen her thing pop up yet, but I am looking at. I was gonna read off of just a couple of them I found on a website called patientworthy.com.
Ah,
I found a list of like 10 things to know about this, so I thought I'd go through a couple of those, and then we still got a couple video clips.
awesome.
All
Um,
right.
so the first thing they said is that there's 6 different types, and we saw that on the video clip.
Yep.
Um, Researchers created these 6 categories in 1997 after narrowing down the list from more than 10. The classic and the hypermobility types are the most common, affecting 1 in 10,000 to 15,000, or
Wow.
1 in 20,000 to 40,000, respectively. So it seems like the hypermobility one is the most common. Yeah, and I think we all knew that one freak in high school that could like touch the middle of his back and to contort his body in all kinds of like weird ways. I think we all knew that kid. Um, EDS is also referred as a largely inherited disease. Affects tissue that supports blood vessels, bones, skins, and other organs. These tissues are also known as connective tissue. People with this syndrome should avoid sports that increase the chance of injuries, such as weightlifting, contact sports. Ankles, knees, and hip injuries can be caused by activities like running, step aerobics, or climbing stairs, according to the
Mm,
Mayo Clinic.
Yeah.
no
Jesus, I didn't
bueno.
know
I'm
climbing
not for
stairs.
stairs anyway.
I was like, nope. With all these stuff I do, I'm like, nope. Don't want this.
um,
It would be very frustrating for
People with
me.
EDS have skin that feels very velvety and soft to the touch. Their skin is very stretchy, fragile, and elastic.
Mm,
With the classic type of EDS, skin can create what informally called cigarette paper scars over
mm.
time, wound splits, and widening causing characteristics. Okay, I got 2 more. When EDS are at the dentist, they may need to take short breaks to close their mouth. It's safer and allows time to rest. In addition, not chewing gum, ice, hand, or hard foods will protect the jaw. So I'm guessing maybe their jaw dislocates.
The temporal, yeah, the TMJ or that joint right there will be very loose and can dislocate and end up causing them great pain.
Ooh,
Mm,
At the dentist where I worked, we saw lots of people with that, and oh boy,
really?
yeah,
I can believe it.
we
Yeah.
would see over like 4 or 5,000 people a day, so we saw lots of people come in with different things.
Wow. It says the violin and the piano are the safest instruments for EDS patients for more than one reason. There are
Mm,
instruments that are better for increased. These instruments are better for increased hand flexibility, while reed, wind, or brass instruments are more likely to cause a collapsed lung. Holy crap!
Wow.
wow.
Um,
Oh,
Double jointed people have nothing on ADS. These patients have joints that can be moved far past normal range. Those with EDS might even be able to touch the tip of their tongue to their nose. Wow,
dang.
that's
Yes.
a date. Wow, so there's a lot going on there. That's
Gene
very
Simmons.
interesting that they even mentioned the type of instruments that might be good for you to play, and based on that, also the instruments that may not be good for you to play, especially if it's going to cause you to collapse a lung.
Yeah.
Mm,
So that was just a list of some little facts there from patientworthy.com. And here, oh, I keep forgetting to change out these banners. What do you guys want to do? You want to go to the last set of vids?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. So both of these vids are one's 324 and one's 329. So hopefully we'll make them through. But here we go.
Yeah.
Sports 22. She felt dizzy and collapsed from a standing position. She's got an isolated shoulder injury with query fracture dislocation. Good radial pulse and cap read for less than 2. GCS 15 throughout and all others are normal. She had 5 of morphine, a gram of IV paracetamol and Entonox with good effect.
How did you fall, Neve? I don't really know. I felt a bit lightheaded, stumbled, and down I went. Landed right on my shoulder.
Poor lass were just sat on a curb with a pop shoulder. Nobody helping her.
Same old story. People always walk away. Act like it's contagious.
Like, what's contagious?
All right, thanks, guys. Lou?
See you later.
Okay, I'm going to send you for an x-ray. Fingers crossed your shoulder's not fractured, because if it is just a dislocation, I can just pop it back in place today. And I will need to do some tests just to check why you went dizzy. I almost think my parents, they could have popped my shoulder back in. They've done it before. It's happened a few times, is it? Only once or twice. Okay, and do you have pain anywhere else? My stomach hurts. I've been taking paracetamol for it.
You didn't mention that to the paramedics?
I get lots of pains.
What sort of pains, Neve?
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to lie you down and take a look at your stomach.
If you must.
Yes, it's definitely just a dislocation.
It always is.
With some gentle manipulation, it should be fairly easy to put back into place. I am slightly worried about your weight, so I'm going to get Louise to check your BMI.
Oh, we were getting on so well.
What do you mean?
I thought you were better than this.
Neve, I think we're just worried.
I haven't got an eating disorder. That's what you're thinking, right? That's what you all think, but that's not me. I promise you.
Look, I wouldn't be doing my job if
Everyone thinks it is, but everyone's wrong. I've been saying it for years.
Neve, I know where you're coming from. I totally get it.
You don't need to check my BMI.
The hardest thing is admitting there's a problem.
And here we go, regular as clockwork. The talk about seeing someone who can help me with my mind.
We do have people that can talk to you. If I hadn't have spoken
Just fix my shoulder, please. Then I'll be on my way. I'm not being difficult or sarky. I just know the routine. But honestly, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Neve, look, it's fine. Okay, we don't want to upset. Okay, if you just let your shoulder drop, try and relax for me.
Here, hold my hand.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Why didn't you feel that?
you've got me on pain relief.
Yeah, but people still usually feel something.
I'm obviously 1 in a million.
What's the no pain at all?
None.
Okay, you said this has happened a few times before, but there's no mention of you being admitted in your notes.
My dad always used to pop it back in for me. Mum started getting squeamish after a while.
So not the once or twice like you told us earlier.
Let's just say enough times to drive him around the bend. Probably closer to 100 times.
Right, so it's happened so many times that you've just got used to the pain.
You get used to everything eventually.
Okay, I'm gonna do a repeat x-ray just to confirm the position.
That feels good. There. I can...
Wow.
Wow.
Man, that makes me think of you, John, in that, I guess the pain happens so often that you just kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to peace with my pain after 28 years of dealing with it, and I've just come to realize that it is just going to be there for the rest of my life. So it's up to me now to decide how I should react to. Do I want to be angry the rest of my life? No, I wasted 12 years doing that. The first 12 years after the accident, I was just an absolute idiot, raging mad, and I wasted so much energy and time working through that the wrong way.
Yeah.
But also, doctors were misdiagnosing me the entire 12 years, too. So,
Oof.
oh, it's sciatica. It's sciatica. I said, but that was dealt with the first year after I told you about sciatica.
Right.
Now what's the problem, people? It's in my left SI joint. To this day, when I go to see different doctors, where's the pain? In my left SI joint, just like I described in the new patient paperwork. Does it radiate? No. Just like in the paperwork. No, it doesn't radiate. Unless it goes into my scrotum or into the sphincter, and that's it. Then
Right.
that's when I pass out.
What's up, Alex? Thank you for
Hey, you
joining.
got Alex in the hey yos.
Yeah. So it sounds like this lady's just in complete denial. And in fact, it almost sounds like she seems it as a badge of shame somehow
Well,
to
it's how people have
be
made her feel. It's how
Yeah,
they're
and it doesn't. Well, and they keep telling her that she's got something that she doesn't have, and she's like, "How many
exactly,
times can I
exactly.
They're
Thank you.
they're ignoring. They're. It's not even that she's ashamed or that she's.
No,
It's more that she's like, I've
it's
already
not
been through this so
listening.
many times. You've not listened to me. You're not listening to me.
Exactly.
And this actually happens. This happens to women actually
Yes,
a
it does
lot
happen to women all the time.
more
Yes,
often than it does to men,
yes,
and
it
it
does.
gets
in this,
frustrating.
and
At the hospital I worked at, I saw that every day.
I totally understand that, but in this particular case with this video scene,
Mhm.
it almost seems different. It's almost like she's in denial about the truth, and these doctors or nurses are trying to help her figure out something that she doesn't necessarily even
I
want
didn't
to
get that at
admit.
all watching
Me
it.
either.
I
You
didn't
didn't
get
get
that at
that?
all.
No, what I
No.
thought was she was frustrated with them trying to tell her what she has, and she's telling them this is not the case. This is
Right.
not
Okay.
what
Well,
I
let's
have.
watch a second clip, and maybe
Oh,
that'll
okay. Might
enlighten
change.
us
Might change us.
a little bit more. We'll
And
see.
that's
We'll
what
see
I
who's
got from
right.
that. So
All right. Here we
Okay, so
go.
I'm not alone at least.
Well, and that's a good thing. That's why it's nice to have the different people here, because
Yes.
I saw it a completely different way. What I saw was
I have called your GP. They're going to arrange for someone to see you.
I said not to do that.
You shouldn't be going through this on your own.
I'm not going through anything. Stop making decisions you know nothing about. I've had this conversation with my parents a million times. But honestly, the way you're looking at me now is how they looked at me. Can I go yet?
Neve,
Neve, please.
that doesn't hurt you either.
Everything hurts, every day. But trust me, it's not nearly as painful as someone not believing you.
When you fell over, you said you felt lightheaded.
I just want to go.
Look, I really advise that you stay here for now.
Where's my bag?
Neve, listen to us.
Right, okay, no, I'm sorry, I can't let you leave. Can we get a manual BP, please?
I'm all right, it'll pass. It always does.
This looks like postural tachycardia syndrome.
Saying big words won't keep me here.
I want you to trust me, okay?
I've been down that road.
But not with us.
You're both very nice. You mean well, but no one ever believes me.
We do.
That is what we're trying to tell you, Neve. We absolutely believe you. Okay, this is not an eating disorder.
We want to find out what it is.
You honestly just said that. Do you know how much I've wanted to hear that? You promise you really mean it?
Every word.
I told people over and over.
Well, we're listening now.
BP is very low.
Okay, we're going to keep you under close observation. I'm going to get a second opinion.
How about that, eh? You're not what we think, and we're not what you think. It's okay.
Sorry, I just never had anyone listen till now.
Robin, Kate and school to check hypermobility.
Yeah, have you considered fibromyalgia? It's the pains, not just in the stomach, it's everywhere.
My GP put that down to rheumatism. At my age, didn't go back.
And find out if her parents have hypomobile joints. It could be something that runs in the family. Okay, keep me in the loop.
So what's fibro... whatchamacallit?
It's a disorder that causes muscle pain and fatigue throughout your body. It would mean me doing a whole series of tests.
Out of the frying pan, as they say.
Do you remember when you first developed these symptoms?
Maybe 10 years ago?
And what about when you started losing weight?
About the same.
Okay.
What is it?
Neve, I want to try something else. I think we should move you to resource when there's a bed available.
You look worried.
It looks...
Horses. Sorry.
It's alright, I got this.
Okay, that's great. Well, it's not great, obviously. Basically your knees, elbows, thumbs, fingers, and shoulders, obviously, are hypermobile. You were right all along, it's not an eating disorder. I'm sorry that people assumed that.
And this is 100% honest truth.
I think you could have something called Ehlers Danlos syndrome.
No one's mentioned that before.
Well, EDS is thought to be rare, but hypermobility EDS is more common.
But what I have, if it is definitely this, it has a name.
It does indeed.
I've got a thing.
It's not a great thing, Neve.
No, but it's an answer. I've never had an answer.
Okay, Massey.
Oh my God. You tell me how you guys felt about that. When they said, "We believe you," this is how I felt my current doctor is with me. And this is why I'm friends with him now. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, you're hearing me. He's like,
Right.
yes, I hear you. I hear what you're going through. I see what you've gone through. He's like,
Right.
now we have to work on getting things in order. And I'm like, seeing that. And then when they said she has a thing, I'm like, that's how I felt when finally 12 years or so went by and I was finally diagnosed and I had a thing. And I'm like, finally, we can start working towards, well, hopefully fixing it.
What that thing is.
Yeah.
Right.
I was getting to a place where it's at
Oh,
least livable.
That was a
Mhm.
whole different feel to that part of the vibe there. And they realized, oh, it wasn't an eating disorder. They apologized. I thought that was huge.
Mhm.
And I was like,
She wasn't in denial, though. She wasn't in denial about any
she
of
was
it.
not in denial. And I did not get that feeling in the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
What I got
No,
was she
Were
was
you
being,
talking about the nurses that were in denial? That you felt
no,
that
no,
they
no,
were in
no.
denial?
No. I still believe my original conjecture. I feel like she was in denial, but here's where the miscommunication came. She thought, well, and then actually, at least one of the doctor or one of the nurses did think that she had or eating disorder, but I don't necessarily think the other nurse saw that. They were looking at other tests. So I think what it was that the patient has been to the doctor so many times and they always come up with eating disorder for her, and she keeps saying it's not a eating disorder. So when these doctors tried to help, she automatically assumed that they were just going to label her with the eating disorder and not try to look past and find
initially they
other
were.
things for her.
That was
Then I
their
think
initial.
denial is probably the wrong word for your conjecture. It's not that she's in denial, because
She's being determined to
denial,
tell them this is not it.
yeah, because the denial is when you have something and you repeatedly say you don't have it,
And you're trying to
even
hide
though
it.
you do. No, it's not even about trying to hide it. It's like you can't come to terms with the fact that you have it. That's
Oh,
what
that,
denial
yes,
is.
true. That's true.
Right. Okay.
So
So denial may not be the best
that's,
word.
I don't think it's the right. I don't think it's the right word. That what you're trying to say is that she
She knows
didn't
more
think
about
that they were going
herself.
to help her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that she knows that something's wrong, but it's not what every other doctor has told her
Right.
it's been.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And she's tired of dealing with the same old thing over and over and
Mhm.
getting the wrong answers. And that's why she doesn't want to deal with
She's
these
frustrated.
nurses,
Yeah.
because she's gone through the rigmarole before.
She's not in the place to listen, as she wasn't in the place to listen to what they were saying, because she has been trying to say, so she's blown in the face, I don't have an eating disorder, that's not what's happening. And
Right,
they just
right.
She
ignore
had to
her
be defensive.
Now I'm wondering why they thought she had an eating disorder then. Was it
because she was losing weight.
Because she's under a certain weight for her age and height.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Alex. No worries.
Because I did notice, like, when they pulled up her shirt or whatever, it looked like she had a bruise on her stomach, or
Oh, she probably does.
Probably
right.
does.
And that I had attributed to they were talking about easy bruising when you have
Mhm.
EDS. And so okay, that makes sense.
It's really
Well,
interesting. They also were like, we think you might have fibromyalgia, which is interesting
Yes.
to people with that. Again, it just like
It's a comorbidity. Yep.
it's a comorbidity.
Yeah.
It's a symptom of it almost. That's what it
Yep.
feels like, or that it seems. Again, I'm not a doctor, but it seems like this is a correlation between the two. That
Definitely.
they often go hand in hand together.
And I think you can make people or help people to understand how difficult it is in nailing down some of these things and really
Yes.
figuring out, because they look so similar to other things that maybe the
Mhm.
doctor might think they have that thing, but in actuality, it's something very similar.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, when I had GERD, or I didn't have GERD, but I was misdiagnosed as having GERD. It was frustrating because they weren't. I went to a gastroenterologist. I also went to an ENT, and when I kept saying I don't have acid reflux, I know what acid reflux is,
Yeah.
and I've had it before, but this is not what's happening. Because I was having acid reflux with wheat because I have an allergy to wheat, and so it would cause
Oh,
chronic
you
acid
might have
reflux.
celiac.
I do have celiac. Yeah.
Okay.
But they were like, "Oh no, that's not what's going on." And it was like, "No, I know exactly what that feels like. I know." And they gave me they gave me acid blockers, and they gave me a bunch of other things, and that actually caused like my stomach to react to actually give me acid reflux. And by the end of it, my gastroenterologist is like, "Yeah, I don't think you have it. I don't think you have GERD."
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
After
and
all
it
that
was
crap.
after all that, like so many testing, and they're like, "Oh no, but there's something going on with your heart," because I ended up having an endoscopy, and they found that my heart had an irregular
So it
heartbeat.
has basically not. It's not sinus heart rate. It has the arrhythmia, I think, or
Hmm.
something like that, meaning that both chambers aren't in sync. Something like
So
that.
yeah, so it actually is happening. What they found out, interestingly enough, is that what they have found out is that so you have an electric shock that tells your heart to
Yes.
beat. And every once in a while, the shock isn't within the chambers. It's not shooting every time. So it causes my heart rate to suddenly drop. And then it'll go back to normal. It's just slow. It's a slow shocker.
Gotcha.
If that makes
Gotcha.
sense. But it's not to the point where it's like affects me
So you don't need
regularly.
like a pacemaker or
No,
something to keep that. Okay. Okay.
no. But every once in a while, I'll get lightheaded or like and that's partially probably why I have low BP is because of that. So I also have low blood pressure, which is
Yeah, I have that
interesting.
problem too with low blood pressure. Even when I'm extreme pain, they're like, "How is your blood pressure so low?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's always been like this my whole life."
Yep.
Well, guys, we are at the hour mark. The
Oh
hour
wow.
that flew by quick.
I
I
did.
would
And
like to
Jen never
thank.
came back.
Yeah.
I
You
know.
missed everything, Alex. You missed everything.
That's really fun.
That's okay. That's the nice thing about YouTube. You can go back and rewatch it later.
Yep. You can
That's
rewatch it.
true.
I would like to thank Jen Carpentier for coming on and
Yes.
being our guest tonight and talking to us. Yay!
Yay. Well, I'm sad she suddenly had to leave before we could say goodbye and to thank her. I feel
Yeah,
really
she
bad
was
about that.
awesome.
I will definitely make sure to send her a message and tell her that you guys appreciated having her
Definitely,
on.
definitely loved
Yeah,
having her on here. She was great.
absolutely.
John, it's definitely a pleasure having you back in the
Yay.
saddle.
God, it feels good being here. It really does.
Yay.
I know
Does
I've
that
been
mean we'll be switching
fighting this
things
itch.
back to Wednesdays?
Well, actually, Tuesdays or Wednesday, whichever one works for you guys better. Because I realized when I was reading before that Van said, "Well, we didn't have anything on Tuesday." Sorry, I mean Ark. I'm so used to calling you. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we didn't have anything on Tuesdays. But with it on Tuesdays now, put some content on every day of the week. I'm like, well, sure, we could put it on Tuesdays. That works for me. You know,
Okay, okay.
whichever one
Well,
works.
you had it on.
I know it
Sorry,
had to do with like your wife's work schedule or something like that.
on the
Well,
Saber.
well,
On
she now
TV.
works out of the house. She works out of the house. She works at a place called Gerber. She works in a collision auto shop as the parts person. Pretty
Oh,
awesome. She's
nice.
badass. I'm telling you.
What
She
badass
got me
wife
this.
you got?
I mean, she went to a technical car college to where she was like out of 4.0, she got 3.99.99 as her
Wow.
grade. She's very competitive. I mean, 5.5'2". Just watch out. She's coming through, man.
Tiny but mighty.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you guys want, we can keep it on Tuesdays. How does that work for you, Aubrey? Or Aubrey, are
I'm
you
yeah.
wanting to stay?
I
That would
don't
be
mind.
awesome.
I like hanging out with you guys. I like doing this
This
weekly.
is
I
fun with
learned
Audrey
so
and
much.
you guys here like this. We got the boy wonder over here doing his wonderful things with his sign. There you go. Yep.
I love that he has that we have that as well. It's great.
Beautiful. Well, I think it works out for me. As long as it works out for everyone. How do you feel, Boy Wonder? Is this a good situation for you?
You like having 3 people to do signs for?
Just makes your job that much harder.
He's gotten a lot better. From when he first started out, he has gotten so much smoother with it. As I've been watching him do this, he's so much smoother with it now. I'm like, dang.
He is a professional.
He's a
We've been
pro.
trying to get Chris involved in one of our shows for years. We just haven't had the proper place for him.
That's awesome. I'm glad he's here because he definitely
Yeah.
is awesome.
Well, guys, you know how we do. We do this show once a week, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I want to thank everybody who joined us, Alex, Fours, everybody else who jumped in. Minty Oreo or mixed Oreos. Everybody else who will be watching this later. We appreciate your time, and of course, Jen Carpentier. We appreciate her input on this and helping us understand Ehlers-Danlos syndrome a bit more. We don't
Morgan
necessarily
approve.
Kitten approve.
Oh, how adorable! My cat used to do that. If I was at my laptop, come over and just fall over onto the keyboard.
Right. Yeah, if my
That's
cat was
not
running around
nice.
right now, you'd see a butthole on the screen right now.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of my old videos that I have where the cat's doing that. Yep, back and forth. Like there she goes.
Morgan
All
is
right,
funny.
guys. Well, we
All
will
right.
be here next week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and hit. Well, like I said, hit like, subscribe, and let your friends know about this because we are. Great for the grand. We are 16 people away from our next Saber giveaway.
Wow, that's
Nice.
so fast.
Yeah, the giveaways, guys.
Yes.
Check out what I won. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my second win here, but this was through the Patreon though. The other one that I won was through the giveaway that they did with when they were back doing 50 people. So I got the seeker over there, but this one, and then I took Jody didn't want the wrap, so I'm like I took it, cut it into pieces, and now I put the wrap on because this has a smooth grip and it's kind of slippery, really nice feeling, but it's slippery. So I'm like, fine, I'll put that on there. But the other thing too, the light emitter piece doesn't unscrew from these. It's like, hey,
Yeah, some
take
pieces
them off.
yeah.
Just a design
And then, of course,
difference.
you have your dark saber. You went from having no sabers a few months ago to damn near having a saber shop right now.
I know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I have a tournament at the end of the month, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I got the cable. I got the cable for this thing, and I downloaded the little software for it. Now I just have to start figuring how it works so I can program it.
All right, y'all. I am out of here. Please let 16 more of your friends know.
Definitely.
I would love to give away a saber on Mother's Day.
Oh, that'd be
Mother's
awesome.
Day, it would be very nice to give away a saber. So if I can get 16 more people subscribed to this channel, we can do that this Sunday. But we need your help. So please share this to a friend. Then just go on their phone and just go ahead and subscribe yourself. They don't need to do that.
Yeah, just whenever they're not looking, just subscribe, hit the little bell. Don't forget to hit the bell, man, so they can know when they're on.
We're on, yeah, because we've got lots of interesting stuff.
Grandmother's phone, yeah. Don't forget the grandparents' phones. Yep. Get them on there.
Grandma loves Saturday morning nerd out.
Oh yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. And let me get our little outro ready here.
Definitely.
All right.
There we go. All right, y'all. We will see you next week. Peace
All right.
out.
Signing out.